Hello, everyone who have joined right now. We are just going to wait for like 2 or 3 more minutes so that others also join in, and then we shall begin. And thank you for being so much, thank you for being here on time, especially. And I hope you're all able to see my screen. If yes, if you can drop a thumbs up or whatever on the chat box, I'll know. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you. So, meanwhile, as we wait for the others to join, it would be great if Deborah and Yash, if you can introduce yourself in the chat, like basically just your name, where you're from, and like how present are you today? Like, so what I mean by this is, um, I'm sure each one's day is like going to be different. So, uh, like if you could put it into a percentage, like how present are you today, how much would it be? And one word as to how you're feeling today, and probably you can just drop in your favorite emoji. So you can find the emoji button on the chat box. So if you can do that, it would be great to know each other. Thank you, Deborah, for that introduction. And by yes, and by meaning like how much present you are today, I just meant like how present are you for today's session in general. Like some people might be having a really like an okay day, and they might probably be present only 40% or 30%. So it depends. So since I had to be preparing for this, I'm like more like 90% present today, but otherwise I wouldn't have been so present. So I think a few of them have messaged saying that they're joining in. I think some problem with internet. And yes, I'm just going to wait for 2 more minutes, else we'll begin. And you can just feel free to grab something to munch on and like drink some, like any of your favorite beverage. You can have a notebook or a notepad to just note down things if needed. And yes, 60%. Great. that's actually a good thing to be in. At least here in Chennai, it's evening and it's like almost nearing night. So I think post this session, I will just go and get some rest. Okay, thanks for the intro, Yash. Great to know that you're 90% present today. Okay. Okay, so I think I'll just start because the intro is going to take up some time. Meanwhile, if people are joining, they can join. So let me, yes. All right. So once again, welcome you to the CMX Connect Chennai chapters event today. And thank you both of you for joining in on time and for being so present for today's event. Uh, I'm I hope that the session is of some use for you both, and feel free to, like, if you're already working in communities or have some knowledge of communities, and if you feel there's something missing, feel free to add on your points to the chat box. This is how we learn from each other. So the chat box is all yours. Don't feel restricted. If you have questions, if you have any suggestions, if you have more things to add, feel free to add them. I may not be probably looking at it now and then, but I'll just take in some time here and then to check the chat box as well. So let's begin. So first, I'll introduce CMX and CMX Connect to you even before getting into today's session. So CMX is the premier community for community professionals. CMX Connect events are all about harnessing the incredible power of communities. This program fulfills the need for community professionals and enthusiasts to come together in person or virtually to learn, grow, and connect. We have over 60 plus chapters across the globe currently, and each chapter taking their own step to build their respective communities. Bevy is building communities in real life. These events are powered by Bevy, a software company in the business of building and scaling in person and virtual communities. This platform in which we are all connecting right now is Bevy. And I wholeheartedly welcome you all to the CMX Connect Chennai chapter. The Chennai chapter is very much young and it's still in, like, in the sense, in a very nascent stage. And I'm so glad that you're all like being a part of it at the very beginning stage itself. So, as a part of the CMX Connect chapter, we'll be hosting monthly sessions virtually and hopefully in person soon if the pandemic situation gets better. And in these sessions, we'll be bringing to you a host of speakers across the globe around different topics regarding community and anything related to community. So, if you have special requests for speakers, or if you yourself would like to be contributing in any way as a speaker or otherwise to this community, feel free to get in touch with me. And a few guidelines for today's session. Close any distracting applications on your system if you have any. And yes, let's just devote this next 30-40 minutes for this. Currently, you're all not in the presenter mode, so you won't be able to unmute yourself, but you can definitely use the chat box. Grab your favorite snack or drink, have a notebook and pen to jot down your notes and ask any questions that you may have. And if I'd be able to help, I'll definitely can. Else I'll like the community here itself can help, or I can get back to you with the answer to it. So our goal through these sessions will be to connect. That is, even through these sessions, if we can meet one awesome person whom we can connect with, that's lovely. And learn from one another. So get one actionable thing that you can implement today. And even today's session, I've planned it in a way that you can put it into action at the end of today's session. And advocate, grow the community industry together. So share your learning, share your suggestions, thoughts, and that's how we are going to all learn and grow. So this is how today's agenda is going to look like, but I'm not going to go into the details of this. We'll dive into today's thing, and let me check if we have any new members. Okay, I think no one new has joined in, so we'll since we have all introduced ourselves, let's just quickly dive in. So, even before talking about whether we want to build a community, how to build a community, we'll just quickly go over like what are communities. So, if you ask people what are communities, each one's going to have a very different and distinct but unique definition for it, which may all be very valid. So, to me, community is basically coming together of people with purpose or common interest to share, listen, learn, support one another, work towards achieving something together, and much more. So, each one of you might also have different community definitions, but the overarching theme is somewhat going to be similar, like people coming together with a purpose and common interest and getting something out of this community. So you may be wondering why communities? Like, can I not do this on my own? Like, some people might feel that, but then communities are more and more becoming prevalent these days, and it's not just for personal or social um, reasons, but even for the business point of view. So, communities help you build your personal brand. So, if you're a person looking to build your own community, communities actually enable you to build your own personal brand in your niche. So, together we learn, understand, process, and execute better. Some people do think that they can function well on their own, which is so valid, which is not probably false. But then together, when you do it, the spectrum is much more different. Like you get to learn more, you get to understand more, you get to see different people's perspectives and put them into action as well. And you have more people backing your ideas, backing your strategy, and helping you do this together. And people are looking for places where they feel belong and validated. So that's more and more seen in this digital world as such. But even before that, even before the digital era, we used to have a lot of communities that we probably didn't refer to as communities, but then they were communities. Like at least if I personally think of my mom used to have her friends like a ladies club that she used to go to. That's a community in itself. The apartment complexes, they are a community in itself. um, Small business owners, they have their niche audience like whom they try, who usually get back to them for businesses and for services, and that's a community in itself. Probably they were just termed differently. Community helps in building and strengthening our ideas. So, if we are someone with a small idea, a community can help in building and strengthening this idea. And if you're a business and if you're looking, if your goal is to make increase your revenue, sorry about the spelling, increase communities definitely do help and increase your revenue of the business. And communities are going to motivate you to move forward in the right direction. So I felt this was more important to understand even before you know how to build your community. So, getting into today's topic of discussion, so how to actually understand and start building your community. And this is not for, and this session is not just for beginners, it's even for people who already have their own community of their own, but they are somewhere lost and are looking for the direction. So, whoever you are, this is for you. I hope this whole framework will help you in getting to where you want to be step by step. Okay, so this is how these are the three levels that I've put it into. Like the first level is the planning stage, where you actually really sit down with yourself to understand and reflect on what you want to do and why you want to do it. And once you're done with this level one, we'll deep dive into these levels, but then this is just the idea. Once you plan your event, like plan your whole strategy, the second one is putting it into action, which is your execution stage. And the third one is the learning stage. The learning stage is not something that will just stop. It's not something that will come at the end. It's actually something that will come from level one. It's going to be prevailing all through your journey of building this community. So let's deep dive and look into each of these. So, as I said earlier, even before you start doing something, it's always wonderful to actually ask yourself certain questions. It's like a self reflection to understand yourself and your needs better. So, first step, understanding who you are. So, you may be a community builder or a manager. You may be an entrepreneur owning a small business or a biggest business. You may be an influencer. You may be someone who's having an idea but is trying to figure out what to do next. You may be someone who's looking to interact with more people. You may be a freelancer. You may be a content creator. You may be literally anyone. So try to actually sit down and um, understand who you actually are right now. And that will actually help you progress with the next steps. Next step is to identify the why of your community. So, this is very important because this will be the first step. This will be the foundation to you for you to build your community. So, without an actual why, there will be no proper direction or structure to your community. So, how you can do this is by asking yourself these uh, 4, 5 questions. So, why am I actually doing what I'm doing? Why do I want to build a community? What is the goal I'm trying to achieve? What is the problem that my community is trying to solve? And how do I see this community to help me? And these answers might all be overlapping, definitely. Sometimes you might have the same answer for 2, 3 questions, and that's perfectly all right. Why we are doing this is basically to eliminate that doubt in your head that might arise later on at some point. So, when you're actually looking at these questions and writing down the answers that are coming to your head, it'll actually help you get back at a later stage when we are actually having this doubt. Wait, what is the goal I'm actually trying to achieve? This might come up at multiple points of your journey of building a community, but this initial planning that you're doing will help you actually clarify that at a later stage. So this is a very useful thing. And even if you don't have your own community, if you're actually managing community for someone else's business, this is a really good strategy to think, why are you actually doing this for that particular business? Is it to achieve their business goals? Is it to get more revenue? Is it to get more sales leads? So, depending on what kind of community you're trying to build and who you are, try to answer these questions on your own. And there's no right or wrong at all. And also be prepared that these things can change also over time. Like if you feel 3 months, 5 months down the line, if these answers to these questions are going to change, that's totally okay. That's valid. The only thing is just keep checking in at frequent intervals and making some changes to your plans according to this. The next thing is identifying your community's niche. So this actually, so identifying is like, what is your community going to do? What is the focus area of your community? Is this going to be like a mompreneur community? Is this going to be like a student community? Is this going to be for, is this going to be more around arts and crafts? Is this going to be like a freelancers community? What is that one thing, or at least like a focus area that you are trying to bring into this community? So this will actually help you in bringing a lot of structure into your community, and it refrains you from losing focus. So some people don't have this focus and their community is discussing anything and everything, and at some point they just don't know the purpose that they're trying to get into their discussion. So it's always nice to have that one particular thing like a focus area for your community. And this is again going to take some time. You can try to try to have like a shortlisted number of themes that you're willing to focus on, and then as you progress also you can actually eventually find that particular niche. And so, according to Fever Bees blog, so Fever Bees is blog by Richard, who's also a community builder. I can actually share these resources. I have a couple of interesting articles that you can refer to. So, I'll just share these after today's session via email. So, he says like you can categorize and classify your communities based on interest, action, place, practice, or circumstance. So, so you can, this can be also a framework for you to actually, which will help you to categorize your community. And who are the people who will benefit from your community? Who are, so this is a very important question. So if I'm trying to build a CMX Chennai chapter, and it's like a group for community professionals and community enthusiasts, me going and reaching out to someone who's probably not very interested in this is probably not going to be valuable for both of us. So I'd rather spend that time in reaching out to community people and people who are interested in community to be a part of my events, because there's both parties seeing benefit here. Like, I'm getting to actually interact with people who are building or is looking to build communities, and they are also getting what they actually want from it. So, who are your community members? And an interesting thing to actually do is get into the specifics. Let me just check if there are any questions. Yeah, okay. Yes, so get into the specifics of what your community members look like. And this can be like really, really specific as well. This is like your ideal community member. But it's okay if you don't find that ideal person, but this will actually give you a very fair understanding of who you are trying to serve through your community. So you can actually go on, keep a name for your community persona, like what is their age, where are they from, what is their education or occupation, what are their interests like, what are their characteristics like. So these will actually help you understand your members better. So if it's a community for entrepreneurs, is there a particular age group of entrepreneurs that you're targeting? Is it just for people from a particular segment in the world? Is it for people who are right after college and who are looking at pursuing entrepreneurship? So things like that, just make it very specific. And if it's like for a mom community, and if it's like, you can just actually specify the age group of moms that you're targeting through this community. So this is how you this will actually really help you in reaching out to the right people and not waste time. And it'll also help you in structuring your community according to their needs. So if you know that your target, like your community members of the age group 25 to 35, you will probably look out for curating and providing value according to that age group. And the next step would be to actually identify what's your expectation from your community. So this is very similar to the why of your community, but then this is actually asking yourself, okay, so I'm building this community. So what do I want from this? So how do I see this community in a few months or years from now? How do I see this personally impacting me? What kind of an impact can this community have in the outside world as well? So this will be a great thing to do, because you know this is a purpose going into it. Okay, you have something to look forward to and work towards. So that's step number 5. And that's the end of level 1. So this level 1 is basically, it's all up like within you. You're just going to do a self reflection to understand all about yourself and your needs. Next is putting all this into action. So this is a very important stage, just like the level 1. So it's not just about the planning, but it's also about putting all your plans into action. That's when everything materializes and you start learning something new as well. So the first thing I would like to say is start small, but start. So just start and don't procrastinate this process. Everyone's afraid of taking that first step for different reasons. Like, they are just wondering, oh, will people be interested? Will I get the right audience? Will they come back to my community? Will they find value in this community? And so many more questions are constantly going to be running in your head, even if it's 1 month or 1 year from now. So the best thing is to just start. So you are still going to be imperfect even 1 year from now, even if you're going to do a lot of research, a lot of learning, but you are going to be learning constantly in this journey. So just take that first step towards building your community, or towards like anything. If even if it's just the planning, just start right now, so that a week or so from now you can actually put them into action. So, And this journey is filled with learning. You're constantly going to learn and improve from one another. So you can rather just start now and eventually just grow. Consistency in providing valuable content. So you may be wondering, like some people always said these things, okay, once I reach 100 members, I'll start um, doing something with my community. But that's not how it works. Like even if you have 3 to 5 members in your community, it can even be like people whom you know and who actually value your idea. It can be even them. So even if it's just three, like even 2 people who believe in your idea or who want to really contribute towards your community, start with them. Consistently take those small steps and just keep doing it. You don't have to put something, you don't have to do something every day. That's like I think too much on yourself as well. So you can rather just say like probably every week twice I will do something for my community. I will either post relevant videos, I will probably interact with them, I'll probably start discussions, I'll probably host live events. You can just have that idea in your head and do that consistently. So people know, like your members know, okay, today is Tuesday and there's going to be a live session in this community. Today is Friday and there's going to be like a open discussion that I can be a part of. So build that consistency in providing value to your existing members. You don't have to always do it when you reach a certain level. Building trust. So, this is something that I feel is super important in any community. So, whether you're trying to build a support community, an engagement community, or just a very interest based community, the trust factor is something that's very important. People are there for a reason. They actually want to feel belonged, they want to feel safe with their whatever they're expressing, and they want to be actually feel understood and like be it their suggestions or their needs or their doubts. They don't want to really feel judged, but rather accepted by the community. So creating this safe space for the community is very important. Be very transparent with your community members. So it's not always about the rosy picture that you're going to paint to them. It's also about the lows that you go through as a community. So if there's a particular event that didn't do really well, that's okay. Just share with your community that, like in the sense, okay, we expected like so many RSVPs, but then we just got so many people attending the event. So what went wrong? Like, what can we do better? Like, or is this topic something that's not in the sense okay with them? Is the team something not okay with them? Or be it, it can be several reasons, but then just be transparent with them because that will actually help you as a community builder to also get feedback and grow with them. So being transparent with your members will actually bring in a lot of comfort and trust uh, among your members. Educate them on what it means to be in the community. So not everyone is used to being like being in a community. So some people are definitely going to be really silent spectators in your community, and that's totally okay. They're going to take their time to actually get comfortable and interact. So by education, like educating them, you can just tell them the various means by which they can contribute. They can either just share the like share something that they feel close about, or something that they have been going through, or something some story that they would like that they found really helpful. Like just list down the different ways through which your members can contribute and engage in this forum. So that will actually let them know, okay, let them choose what suits them, and be available and be clear. So don't make things very complicated at the beginning stage, at least when people are also experiencing new things. So be available for them. If you have promised to show up on a particular day for a live chat, uh, be available. Make yourself available. Even if you're just having 1 or 2 people listening to you, it's okay. I think that's great to begin with, and be clear about what this community's expectations are, what you're doing, and also get to hear from them the same. And show up even if it is imperfectly. As I said earlier, it's okay if, like, if you haven't prepared, if you are not like completely confident with what you're going to do with your community, but that imperfection is itself, like showing up with that imperfection is in itself going to bring in a lot of comfort among your members. If you are not doing okay, let them know that you're not doing okay, and they might probably, like, you'll be surprised to see some members actually step in and step up and actually take some of your responsibility during that particular session. So it's all about communicating and making them feel comfortable and building that trust. Quality over quantity always. So a lot of community actually goes behind numbers, which is not bad at all. Like, at least businesses are very much inclined towards numbers because they are investing in the community. They would like to know how many members are there, how much, what's the, is it a 3 digit, is it a 4 digit, is it a 6 digit number, etc., which is not wrong. But then the quality also matters. That's what I'm trying to say. So the impact you're going to create through your community, the meaning you're trying to um, give from your community, the value, the purpose, everything matters. So a community with number of members, but no meaningful engagement does not necessarily meet the purpose. So you would really rather prefer a community where there are just 50 to 60 members, but there's some kind of meaningful engagement happening every day. That's something more meaningful than a very silent, uh, member driven community. So drive towards building value first, and organically your numbers are going to increase. And the most important, again, get your community involved. So you have built this community so that you are going to be a part of a lot more people. So their stories, their concerns, their experiences, thoughts, ideas truly matter. Encourage them to share and be a part of the various things you're planning for the community. This will make them feel belonged and responsible towards building this community. So even if it's just 10 members in your community, it's okay. Like, you can ask, like, you can actually have one-on-one chats with them, or you can just get on a virtual chat with all of them to just hear them out, to see where they're all coming from and what's the reason that they want to be a part of this community. So getting, and then you can probably slowly start giving them, like, we'll come to that point as well, giving them responsibilities to, so that it will make them feel more belonged in this whole community. And this is something that everyone does. So getting timely feedback. So feedback is something that we get emails for, we get notifications for this, like, quite often, like, be it our food delivery, be it our e-commerce, events. I think everything I am now actually doing virtually has these feedbacks involved. So there's constantly the need that they ask for feedbacks, they ask you for ratings, and etc. And this is a great opportunity for you also to learn and improve. So feedbacks are a great way that your community also lets you know how they feel. And both quantitative and qualitative feedback helps you understand where you are right now and how you can progress. So work around a method for collecting feedback. So by this, what I mean is, for some communities, like, feedbacks like that again comes with practice. For, at least with personal experience, I feel for my community, anonymous feedbacks work because some people don't feel comfortable letting out their identity when they're giving feedback, and that's completely okay. They feel that being anonymous will probably make them give them I mean will help them give more clear and honest feedback. And for some communities, like, very frequent feedbacks work. For some communities, if you're going to ask feedback every now and then, they are just going to give up after a point. So, like, just fix the right balance, like, probably telling yourself, like, monthly once I'll get feedback from my community, either through online forms or through one-on-one chats, whichever mode works for you. Let it not be like spamming your members every now and then is not going to be very helpful. But then, like, a good time, like a good balance is appreciated, and also make it really simple for them to fill. Don't give them like a 10 minutes questionnaire to fill, because honestly, that's too much to ask for them. Ideally, a 1 or 2 minute uh, form to fill is great to go. Now we are at the last stage, but I wouldn't call this the last stage. This is like this recurring phase from level one, I would say. All through your journey of building communities and understanding communities, you're going to keep learning at every stage, at every step. So in this level, the second one is as a continuation to the feedback. Collecting feedbacks will be meaningless if you do not review and act on them. I know of a lot of people who collect feedbacks judiciously, but they are just piled up in one corner of their office, or they are just there documented in in some folder in their computer, but they are never reviewed or never put into action. So make sure you actually spend time to actually review them and see what are the things that you can do right now. Like, because these are feedback from your own community members. So they feel that if this is done, this can be improved, which is actually something you need. You need valuable feedback for your community to grow. So make sure you also communicate to your members when you have taken action based on the feedback you have received. So, for example, in today's session, if I get a feedback from someone saying the session could have been more interactive, probably I'll be planning my next session based on this, and I'll probably make it more two-way interaction sorts. So and I will also let them know that I am making the session it's going to be a very interactive session, because that's going to garner more, because that's something that I got as a feedback during the last session, and we feel we'll be able to learn more in that way. So that's like, make sure you tell them, because that will make the members also feel that their feedbacks are actually received well and put into action. This is again going to increase the quality and the quantity of feedback you'll receive from the next time onwards. Empower members to take responsibilities. As I told earlier, like, get your community involved, and after a point, when you actually see certain people putting in the extra effort to contribute, ask, or do anything within the community, ask them if they would be willing to take up small roles and responsibilities within the community. So this needn't be anything fancy, anything big with a job description. No, this can be as simple as moderating your community's chats, hosting small events on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, welcoming new members who are joining the community, collecting feedback, organizing discussions, spreading the word. These are small responsibilities you can give them at the very beginning stage. And this is going to bring in a lot of enthusiasm and responsibility and accountability within your members. So, identifying what they would be interested in and giving them that role within the community is also going to take a little bit of your load, and you're actually handing it over to someone who might be better at doing it and who might actually bring in more value towards it. So, be actively doing this within your community, even when they are really small. Recognize and reward your community members. So, everyone's here doing a bit towards your community for some kind of, like, they are, of course, taking that additional effort to take out their time in building this community along with you. So identify good work and recognize their efforts. So this will keep them motivated, and it will also encourage your other members who are probably not that active to put in some efforts as well. So rewards need not be always monetary. You don't have to, if you are an individual building a small business and you're not able to give away cash, that's totally okay. And by reward here, it's primarily the sense of belonging, the sense of acknowledging their efforts, motivating them, building trust, reputation, and recognizing their efforts. So even small things that can add up as value to them is a reward. So, and the last step, I wouldn't say it's the last step, this is again something that's still going to continue over your journey of building your community. Scaling your community is something that involves a lot of patience, time, and consistent efforts. So, your community is not going to grow overnight. It's going to take months and years, and that's totally okay. So, it's very important for you to set realistic goals for yourself and your community. So, I've seen communities actually set really unrealistic goals, like I will reach 10,000 members in the next quarter, and after that there is no action towards how they are going to achieve them. So without a proper framework, it's very hard for you to achieve these goals, and when you don't achieve them, it's again going to demotivate you. So instead of that, you can actually set really achievable goals for yourself and your community, and also alongside draw a framework as to how you want to achieve these goals, and be okay with falling and facing facing challenges. So it's not always going to be a steady growing curve. You are going to face a lot of ups and downs in this journey. There might be sometimes some months where you won't have new members at all, and that's okay. But probably you can leverage on your existing members and see how you can drive engagements, how you can create value with them. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. You have a community, even if it is small. Get help. Get help from your own community members or other community builders. There are a lot of resources that are coming up right now on building communities, how you can leverage with your like existing community, etc. So seek help and just get help of people around you and your own community members. So, with that, whatever I want to tell is done. So, I'm just going to tell you what is something that we can do today. Like, since we are also looking at putting everything into action, you can actually take a screenshot of this slide. I can also share the slides with you post the session. Um, just set aside 25 minutes today, no matter where you are, which part of the world you are. Even if you have like 1 hour before you go to bed right now, just pick 25 minutes today. Pick any step from level one. So I don't want you to like pick a step like scale. I want to scale my community. No, but then even if you're someone with an existing community, uh, it's good to actually do a check in with yourself to understand who you are, where you are right now, and why you want to be doing what you want to be doing. So pick any step based on where you are and what you want to be doing right now. Ask yourself the right questions and make note of these in a paper. So so if you're going to pick this, let me actually go back. So if you feel that you are someone who has an idea and you're looking at building this idea, like building a community based on your idea, you can actually pick step two and identify the why of your community. So, why do I actually think I want to be doing this? And what is the goal I'm trying to achieve? So, you can actually spend just 25 minutes with yourself to do this small exercise. And why I'm asking you to do this today is also because it's still fresh in your mind, whatever we discussed today. So, it's a great time for you to put it into action. And once you have answered these questions, put this up in a place where you can often see it. So it can be your desk, it can be in your kitchen, it can be near your bed or wherever, but then put it up somewhere where you see it on a daily basis. Because as much as you see it, the more you will be wanting to take action towards it. So today is the day. Let's not push this any further. Even if you're able to take one step today, I think you'll feel more motivated to take more and more steps in the subsequent days. So from today's session, I like to say the key takeaways would be like these are just a few. Find out your why. Even before you begin, it's really wonderful to actually introspect and know why you're doing this. Start small, but start. Remember, the secret sauce for building communities is to get your people involved. So, if you have an idea and if you know of people who might actually buy into your idea, even if it's just one friend of yours, discuss it with them. Talk about it and see how you can build on that idea. and be open to share and discuss mistakes and failures. So be honest, be open to sharing these failures, be vulnerable with your community because that will help you grow. And there's always room to learn and grow all through this journey. So, yes, so that's it from my end. And if you have any particular questions from today's session or in general, and if I'm able to take them up, I can definitely take them. So, if any of you if any of you have questions, you can drop them in the chat box and I can take them up. And thank you so much, Yash. I really hope that this was of some help, like to at least get you started. This is, of course, not a this is not like this only guide for you to build communities. No, for some people, it can be like a mix and match of these. If you check online, you will find 100 plus frameworks for building communities, but I just wanted to put these in really simple terms to get a beginner started, or even someone who has started, to give them more direction towards building their community. Because we are often there in the middle, wondering, okay, wait, well, why am I doing this? What am I doing? What am I building this towards? What is the purpose? So it's always better to follow a few steps in a very simple manner that will help us get to where we want to be. So, yes. So, again, remember, although communities feel magical, they don't come together by magic. So, this is an excerpt from the book Get Together: How to Build a Community with Your People, a recommended book for people who are interested in building communities. Also, to build an audience, help people. To build a community, help people help each other. So this is something that struck me real good when I was listening to David Spink speak somewhere. And you decide what you want to build, whether you want audience or you want a community. So if it's a community, today's session would have given you some kind of the initial starter steps to build your own community. So this is some, like, as I said, I'd really love you all to actually share what would you like to see more often in this via CMX Chennai. What kind of events, if you have topics and speakers, even we discussed a lot of themes today. So if you'd like to deep dive into any of these, like, I know today was a very overarching idea, but if you'd like to deep dive into certain aspects, feel free to share them on the chat box. And how can we stay connected? So I have, like, in the sense, we are currently present in these channels. Let me put the links for you in the chat box so you can actually follow us and stay in touch. And this will really help us going forward. Yes, so I've shared a few links. So primarily the Facebook group is something that will have a lot of engagement going on currently. It's very new, so I really request you all to join the Facebook group. And the other channels are basically for you to stay updated with our future events, etc. So thank you all so much for, wait, I think there's a lot on the chat box. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you all so much. Feel free to get in touch with me at any point. Okay, so Deborah has a question. Mike, which tool would you recommend to create and manage a mailing list? I was asked to do this at work and I have no idea. Great question, Deborah. So, email lists. You have There are a lot of tools. So I mean, currently at work we use Active Campaigns ourselves, but there are a lot of wonderful tools. What we do is basically, and if you're doing it for work, I think it would be ideal to jot down what are you going to use this emailing tool for, what is your budget like, and how many contacts are you trying to build. Because usually these email marketing tools, they have, like, for a certain number of contacts, they have a certain cost attached to it. So it's good that if you can do that process, as to if you're just beginning out, if you don't have any contacts as such, I think there are a lot of free tools as well. I think MailChimp and a few others allow you to use it for free for the initial, I think 2000 or 3000 contacts. So if you're someone who's doing it, like if you're starting your mailing list from scratch, go for something that's free, of course, I would say, so that you can work around the tool. You can see whether it works for you even before you go for a paid plan. And something that works, like something that came to my mind apart from the tool, I know you just asked for the tool, but what works when you're trying to grow your mailing list is actually giving something valuable to your people, and for free. So if you're someone entirely new, if you're trying to build it from scratch, you can actually offer them something. Like it can be as simple as a free ebook on some pertinent topic. If it's, for example, if you're trying to grow a community for parents, you can do like a one-on-one parenting during pandemic guide, and it needn't have everything attached to it. It can be like a basic ebook that will just get them started and hooked. And this is a great way through which you can actually attract them. So you can actually, so in order to get the ebook, they will share their name and email ID with you. So you're actually giving something of value to them in order to get the particular, to get their email ID. So yes, Harsh, no issues. So we are recording this session. I would be uploading it on YouTube, and I can share it with all of you, no problem. And yes, if there are any questions, any more questions, feel free. And if you're all comfortable in getting into cameras, we can take a quick picture. If you're all comfortable, I can make you all into presenter mode. We are almost done. Like we are done with today's session. So you can ask questions, you can say a goodbye, you can, and I will be sharing, as I said earlier, like in the sense the slide decks and anything. Yeah, so Yash has also sent in some recommendations for you, Deborah, so you can check them out. So if the attendees are comfortable in coming into camera mode, you can show your faces and wait. I think I will have to stop presenting for that. And yes, to people who have to leave now, can you can say a bye in the chat box and leave. I'm going to stop presenting. Yes, okay. So thank you once again so much. Bye, Deborah. Thank you so much. And there'll be a feedback form that will be coming up, I think, post the session. So please do take 1 minute of your time to fill that up. As I said, feedback is important, and I'm definitely going to put them into action. So feel free to reach out to me and connect with me on LinkedIn as well. If I can share my LinkedIn profile with you, and we can stay in touch. And others also feel free to share your links here so that we can all get in touch with each other and be updated about anything that's happening. Thank you all once again. Thank you, Yash. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Shrija, Harsh, and Ajay. I hope to be meeting you all soon for the next session and learning more from you all. Thank you. Thank you all.